Imagine an entire community living without electricity bills, not by avoiding technology, but by mastering a different kind of engineering. Welcome to the world of hydraulic and pneumatic systems that power over 40,000 Amish families. 40,000 Amish families in Pennsylvania pay exactly zero in electricity bills, year after year. They rely on highly efficient hydraulic and pneumatic systems, engineering solutions most modern university graduates never even encounter. This isn't about being primitive, it's about a different path of innovation. Step inside an Amish workshop. Precision table saws, drill presses, and refrigeration units are all running, powered silently without electricity or generators. The Amish are among North America's most respected craftsmen. They aren't avoiding technology. They are deliberately avoiding dependence on external, centralized systems. The separation of their engineering path from the mainstream began over a century ago. Around 1910, as electrical grids expanded, Amish leadership restricted connecting to public utility grids, guided by their code of conduct, the Ordnung. The key was rejecting dependence on external systems that could be controlled or fail. They sought decentralized, reliable alternatives. The Amish refined three ingenious systems over time to achieve energy autonomy. First, the hydraulic ram pump, used for moving and lifting water without any fuel or electricity. Second, compressed air systems, powered by the water flow itself, operating everything from saws to drill presses. And third, highly effective, passive thermal designs for heating and cooling homes and refrigeration units. Let's explore the simple physics behind the hydraulic ram pump. The concept started with John Whitehurst in 1772, noticing the water hammer shock when water flow suddenly stopped, wasted energy he thought could be harnessed. Later, Joseph Montgolfier developed the first practical hydraulic ram pump in France, turning that wasted shock into usable power. Water flows downhill, a valve shuts suddenly, and the momentum creates a pressure spike, forcing water up into a separate pipe. No fuel, just physics. Even a small drop can push water 30 to 60 feet uphill. These durable pumps run for decades, only needing occasional simple rubber component replacements. But the real engineering marvel is what happens next. The breakthrough was combining water movement with compressed air systems, allowing the water flow to power every tool in the workshop. These highly efficient, decentralized systems were overlooked by modern industries because there was little incentive to promote anything that competed with the profitable, centralized electrical grid. Off-grid, running tools, heating water, and keeping food cold without a single utility bill. This isn't a modern fantasy, it's the reality perfected by the Amish. They have developed a complete, self-sustaining infrastructure using simple physics, but the technology was deliberately set aside over a century ago. The foundation of their mechanical power relies on an independent take on pneumatic energy. Instead of using large electric compressors, the Amish use flowing water to generate compressed air directly on their own land. Even a small stream of just 10 gallons per minute can produce continuous air pressure. This compressed air runs everything from drills, saws, and sanders to essential farm equipment like milking machines, all operating without any electrical current. The most fascinating application of this compressed air is a little-known invention called the vortex tube. Discovered in 1930, when compressed air is forced through a specially designed tube at high speed, it separates into two streams. One becomes extremely hot, and the other becomes extremely cold. This remarkable physics principle allows the Amish to achieve cooling for dairy storage and food preservation without refrigerants, chemicals, or electricity. Next, the Amish master passive thermal design, systems that require no external energy generation, using only sunlight and ground temperature. The solar heater is a simple structure. A black water tank in an insulated box facing the sun, cold water in, hot water rises naturally via thermosiphon, heating water up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit on a sunny day with zero pumps or electronics. For cooling, they use earth coupling. Building root cellars or underground storage takes advantage of the stable ground temperature, around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, creating natural refrigeration with zero energy input. When these three systems are combined, the result is a truly self-sufficient lifestyle. Water flows downhill generating compressed air, sunlight heats water, and the earth cools food. This is a complete, interdependent infrastructure. The outcome is no grid, no monthly bills, and absolute external independence, a system based entirely on physics. If these systems are so technically sound and effective, why aren't they widely used today? The answer is economic. Starting in 1881, Samuel Insull consolidated power utilities to create a centralized model that required one thing: dependence. Independent systems couldn't be metered or generate recurring revenue. Regulations and pricing structures were quietly pushed to favor this centralized infrastructure, leading the idea of energy independence to fade, despite the technology continuing to work perfectly well. Physics hasn't changed. Water still flows, pressure still creates motion, and heat still rises. These simple, independent systems are still possible today. The only question is whether you are ready to use them.
Self-sustaining infrastructure, focusing on simple, powerful systems that don't rely on the grid.
Most people assume infrastructure requires corporations and monthly bills. We're here to show you it only requires understanding and physics. If you have access to flowing water, a spring, a creek, anything consistent, you already have the foundation for reliable, off-grid water supply. We look to models like the Amish, who built ecosystems where each simple system supports the others, creating a complete and independent infrastructure. The core of this water system is the hydraulic ram pump, a brilliant device that uses the power of moving water to lift a portion of that water to a higher elevation without any electricity. First, measure your flow. Use a 5-gallon bucket and time how long it takes to fill. 5 to 10 gallons per minute is more than enough to run a ram pump efficiently. The second factor is vertical drop. Even a small drop of 1.5 to 3 feet can work, but 3 to 5 feet makes performance much more reliable. It sounds impossible, but a small drop can lift water 30 feet or more. This is thanks to the water hammer effect. The sudden pressure spike created when flowing water is abruptly stopped. Building the system is simpler than you might think, centered around a T-shaped fitting and 2 crucial valves. You need a drive pipe, typically 1 to 1.25 inch in diameter. It carries water downhill and must be at least 5 times the height of your water drop to build enough momentum. The first is the swing check valve, which acts as the waste valve. It lets water flow, then slams shut when velocity increases, creating that essential pressure spike. The second valve is a spring check valve. This captures the pressure spike and directs the small portion of water uphill into your delivery pipe. Between the valves sits a pressure chamber, a sealed pipe of air that absorbs the pulses and turns the bursts into a steady, reliable stream. The ram pump is just the start. Now let's layer in other systems that complement your off-grid setup. By allowing falling water to pull air with it, you can naturally compress that air, a system called a trompe. This compressed air can power tools directly, with zero electricity. For hot water, use a simple solar thermosiphon heater. A black tank inside a glass-covered box, facing the sun, circulates water automatically. No pumps, no wiring, just gravity and sunlight. For cooling and food preservation, a root cellar built below ground uses the Earth's stable temperature, maintaining cool conditions year-round with passive ventilation. Put all these pieces together, and you have something much bigger than a collection of tools. You have a complete, resilient infrastructure. The ram pump moves water, elevation creates pressure, flow generates air, the sun provides heat, and the earth provides cooling. Each supports the others, creating a powerful synergy. These systems don't rely on outside control, they don't fail when the grid goes down, and they don't send you monthly bills. The knowledge was never lost, only ignored. The principles still exist, the materials are available, and the physics hasn't changed. Now, the only question is, what will you build with it?